Morning! Happy Monday! Hope you're all okay. I'm just going to check that I'm in the group as usual. Like that, I'm not. No, certainly not like that, I'm not. How has your weekend been? Are you warm yet? How can it just have changed so much? Like, I was sunbathing last Monday when me and Jade had co-working. I came back and I was sunbathing, and today I am genuinely sat with like a heat pad on my legs. It's the best thing I ever bought this. I bought it when I had rib surgery to like keep my ribs warm, and it's the best thing ever. So, hi, hope you're okay. If you're around, come and say hi. And today I am talking about mindset shift. Obviously, this is a huge, huge topic. It's obviously, again, one of my favorites because our mindset is absolutely everything. And bigger than that, I guess, or part of that, is the stories that we tell ourselves and how they dictate how we behave. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is this growth versus fixed mindset. Good morning, Sally. How are you? I ain't seen you for ages. I was just doing the strategy day list for January, and I'm waiting to put you on. I hope you've had a lovely weekend. I hope you got your new laptop sorted. So the whole growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and just a massive difference that what we decide to believe makes in terms of our actions and our outcomes, like the results that we get. Like the phrase, what we think affects what we achieve, is so entirely true. And it also affects like the experience we have of it as well. So this idea of when I'm in a bad mood, which happens very frequently, when I'm in a bad mood, I get to decide, I get to choose whether I'm going to keep buying into this bad mood and keep wrecking my day, my experiences of whatever's going on, my relationships with people around me, whether I'm going to choose to keep buying into the fact that I'm in a bad mood, or if I'm going to choose to change it, do something active that moves what I'm feeling. So whether that means I need to talk to someone about it, get it off my chest, whether I need to write it out, whether I need to scream into a pillow, whether I need to just move my body, like go for a walk around the block, the difference from something like that, whether I need to go to bed early. Like how I decide to behave is all about what mindset I choose to sit in. So, but in terms of like your business skills and life, like growth and fixed mindset is often talked about in terms of business, but the difference between having a growth and a fixed mindset in life is just massive. A growth mindset means that you believe that your intelligence and your talents and your skills can be improved over time and developed. And it also recognizes that setbacks are absolutely necessary. Like this idea of how many times can I fail? It's a really good question. How many times can you fail? Because either you eventually get there or you give up, and they're different outcomes completely, but different feelings completely. And even on that concept of giving up, there's a big difference between giving up because you can't make it, you don't believe you can make it, and giving up because you realize this wasn't a good goal in the first place. Like this idea of giving up is really, really important, but not because you've decided that you failed. Failing and giving up are completely different things. Like the growth mindset idea sees like failing as temporary and changeable, and as such, like a growth mindset is crucial for learning, crucial for resilience, crucial for motivation, crucial for performance. Hey, someone. Jade, hi. You okay? Jade's managed to flood her kitchen this morning. Not sure how. And Amy, I haven't seen you for ages. Good morning. Hope you're okay. So I want us to start looking at how we can adopt a better growth mindset. And it's things like putting more effort into learn. So many of us think that being told something is learning or reading something is learning, but learning kind of comes from putting it into practice and actually using the stuff. It's like a really rubbish example is I've sent Jenna a video this morning on some website things, and she can watch the video and she'll know how to do it, but she won't learn how to do it until she naturally goes and does it, and does it repeatedly enough that it kind of sits into our brain. And learning and like that external part of just reading or listening to something, they're totally different things. Like when learning is like integrated with then into your knowledge. So if you've got a growth mindset, you'll put some effort into learning. You won't expect it all to just come naturally. You'll believe failures are just temporary setbacks. Yay! All right, my darling, see you soon. Failures are temporary setbacks. Again, that difference between I can change my mind because I don't think it's a good goal anymore versus I failed, so I'll quit. Like that idea of I failed, so I'll quit. That's that fixed mindset of I can't get any better. I can't do this differently. So it's that recognition. It's just a temporary setback. You can go again and go again and go again until you get where you want to be. If you've got the mindset that will let you do that. Funnily, after I've just mentioned Jenna, one of the bits I was talking about, I was showing her something on her website. And she'd written a blog about constructive feedback. And so if you've got a growth mindset, you are willing to view feedback as constructive, as a source of information, as something that you can learn from. It is so easy. There was someone in one of my workshops recently-ish. It is so easy to take feedback that is intended to be constructive personally as a personal attack and get stuck in your fixed mindset of, well, this is how I do it, this is what everyone else is doing, this is clearly the best way, rather than looking at, okay, what else could I do then? What can I learn from this? What can I do differently? And feedback as a source of information is a really useful one. I'll do something sometimes and love it, and then Jade will point something out to me, or Tom now, and I hate them. I hate them for pointing something out to me. It's perfectly right and valid. And it's that decision to hate them for a moment and then go, okay, you're totally right. I just didn't see that. And decide to use it as information that I can take forward and learn better from. So important. Growth mindset means that you'll embrace challenges, because again, we have this idea that things are easy, or we see someone doing something or an overnight success and it's effortless. It is not effortless. We have to face the challenges that are chucked in front of us every single day and decide to like build our stage on them rather than let them knock us back. And these challenges, as part of mindset, are a massive player. Almost all the stuff I'm most proud of are things that came after a challenge. And it's really important. This idea of a fixed mindset, so many people don't think they have a fixed mindset, yet they clearly demonstrate that they do. None of us wants to think that. None of us wants to think we've got a fixed mindset. We all want to think we've got a growth mindset. But it's not always the case. Like so many people I work with, I will ask them something and they'll be like, oh, I've never been good at that. I've always been like that. And it's this fixed mindset of because you always have, you've decided that you always will, and you don't recognize that you're even telling yourself this story. Like they're the biggest phrases I hear from people. I've always been like that. Or I never finish things. Like, never? You've never finished anything in your life. But this idea that you are using these stories to keep yourself where you are. And changing the stories, something gives you freedom to behave completely differently. So a fixed-minded person usually avoids the challenges in life. They give up easily. They're threatened or intimidated by other people's success. So again, you'll never find someone who's got a growth mindset, like worrying about what someone else is doing. They will be thrilled with what other people are doing and carrying on their own path. But anybody who's threatened or challenged by someone else's success is very much, it's a fixed mindset kind of trait. And it leads to negative thinking. If you're a fixed mindset kind of person, you're more likely to avoid challenges so that you can avoid failure. You can't avoid failure. Like in any part of your life, you will not avoid failure. Failure is something that is just a learning. It's something super important. We all need to fail more to succeed more. You'll ignore feedback from others. That is a proper fixed mindset trait. You'll completely ignore feedback. And that's not the same as ignoring what your mum says, because your mum might not be your ideal client and that might be absolutely the right thing. But ignoring someone in a professional capacity who knows what you're trying to achieve, that's a fixed mindset trait. And it's really important that you are big enough as a person to recognize that stung and I didn't like it very much, but there might be a point to it. Like, that person's not out to get me, they're not trying to hurt me. There's clearly a point to this. So yeah, you can ignore feedback, feel threatened by successful, as I've said. One big thing about negative mindset is that belief that putting effort in is worthless. There's no point me trying that. I'll never do it anyway. Or where you just think that you don't have to try hard to get what you want because you believe that's what you see in other people. And I just can't explain how untrue that is. Anybody who knows me knows like how hard I've worked to get to a position where I really, really love what I do now. And I'm so lucky like that I can have Jade come and work with me and my husband come and work with me. Like, I'm so lucky and grateful for that. But I've worked my ass off for years and that's cool. And I'll keep working my ass off because there's so much more I want to do. But that believing putting effort in is worthless or it's pointless, that's proper fixed mindset thing. And people with a fixed mindset will give up easily. I know so many people who've done things like setting up coaching businesses. In fact, a really good example, when I qualified as a hypnotherapist and psychotherapist, I think there were about 12 to 15 people on my course. I am pretty sure I'm the only one practicing now, like, and possibly the only one practicing within a year or two from qualifying. And it guts me because there were some really, really talented people in that room. But we give up really easily. If it doesn't magically like build into a business, we give up. And it's one thing I talk about with working with women in businesses. Sometimes you shouldn't run your own business, and that can be okay because running your own business it requires so much grit and resilience I cannot describe. And you have to have the mindset to handle that and to be in a positive frame of mind around it. So yeah, if you know you're someone who gives up easily, really start questioning what mindset, what stories am I telling myself that I believe? Like the idea of I never finish things. Like that's a really common one for lots of female business owners. I never finish things. I've got loads of ideas, but I never finish things. Like, well, that's not true. You've never not finished things. There's nothing that there is something in your life that you could give me as evidence that you've finished. But it might be that you need better time management strategies or better why are you doing this? There might be other stuff that you need to like hack in your life to change your mindset. And on that, like, how long does it take to change your mindset? It's not a quick shift, but then is it a long one? Like, it's this decision to challenge yourself and get more self-aware. And we see it with things like giving up addictions and stuff. Like, some people have smoked or drunk for years and years and years, and then overnight they seem to quit. And what happens is nobody's seeing the fact that they've mentally beat themselves up for years or that they've tried to quit many, many times or whatever it is. And then just suddenly the mindset shift makes it instant. And it's this idea that it's not a quick shift, but sometimes it is. But it don't mean that we haven't been working away in the background for all of those times. When I quit drinking a couple of years ago, 2.5 years ago, maybe, like I'd attempted a couple of times. And then just one day it just clicked, like my mindset had shifted on it. And that was that. It's just so easy when you get to that point. And it's that recognition that our brains, the neuroplastic, we can change our thinking patterns all of the time, but we can only do that with like a conscious effort. And that fixed mindset says, well, I've never been able to do that, so you won't even try. And this idea that people say this will be really long and hard, and I'm like, you stop it. You're choosing not to try, and obviously if you don't try, it is never going to happen. Who said this? Jade. You've got so many positives. We've all got so many fails. Like, your business has changed phenomenally in these last few months, but the process of that's been in the last few years. Like, we've all got so many fails, and fails are really, really good. So yeah, this idea that you think it's not a quick shift, it's like, it kind of is, but only when you decide. And only, again, it's that I said something earlier about putting in effort to learn. You need to put in effort to change your mindset. It's not just a thing that happens. But it starts with that awareness and that checking in on yourself and the stories you're telling yourself. So I'll go off in a little stories you're telling yourself tangent and then I'll quit it. But this idea that we're telling ourselves stories in our head all day long. We say it about things like I hate the rain or I hate being cold. And it's like, whether they're true or not, it's still a story that you're buying into. So hate the rain, you won't want to live in a desert. So this idea that you hate it, it's like you hate it in that moment because you've got to do the school run or go somewhere or you've just washed your hair, whatever it is. Like you hate it in that moment, but like I hate the rain. It's not a universal truth. Like you need it. But what I'm getting at there is this idea that you are telling yourself a story. You hate the rain, so you're finding all of the negatives in it rather than that, oh, it's really inconvenient, it's raining on the school run. That's entirely true. But you're still going to do the school run and you get to choose whether you do it in a really foul mood because it's raining or in a really, I'll be home soon and dry, happy mood. Like the stories you tell yourself all day long dictate the mindset that you are going to experience stuff through. And you get to change the stories. You tell yourself the stories all the time. But until you decide to get aware enough to listen to what you're saying and then growth mindset enough to decide to change it, like you're trapped in that never-ending cycle of deciding you hate rain or whatever the story is. I never finish things. Like you've trapped yourself in a mindset that's really easy to come out of. So instead of I never finish things, it'll be like, right, well, I'll finish this. Like that's it. Just shift that tiny little bit of mindset to I'll finish this and do what it takes. Switch your phone off, chuck it outside, do whatever it takes to finish the thing. And start showing yourself that the stories are just stories. They're not truths. All right. So on that note, I'm going to end because I've got loads to do today. I'm so excited about today. Me and Jade have a whole day together in the office, which we haven't had for ages. I'm doing a load of work on my website, which I'm so excited about. Because I need to make it much, much clearer about how you work with me and what we do. So yeah, I'm super excited about what I've got to do today. And there's loads, my list is massive. But in terms of like a fixed mindset, it's like I've got so much exciting stuff to do. All right. So any questions, as always, hit me up. If you're in Pro, you can get me on Heartbeat. As always, we've had loads of people on the accountability thread this morning. So that's ace. So I will check in with you all later to see what you're doing and how you're doing with your goals. And then I am back next week. Oh, so it's our monthly networking meeting on Monday. So if you're not booked on yet, make sure you do. It's really busy again. There's 20 odd women on it, I think, face to face, locally in Clown. So I'm back with my Facebook Live next week at 2:00. I have no idea what it's on. I never know what it's on. But I'm back at 2:00 here next week. All right. So yeah, any questions, drop me a message and I will speak to you all soon. Bye.